Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video we're going to keep looking at Dragon's Maze, and we're going to move on and look at Gruul Siege, which is another Gruul deck. We've just had one in the previous set, so kind of like with the other Dragon's Maze decks, it's going to be very similar to something we've seen quite recently. So now that I've got you really excited, let's look at the deck list. 24 creatures, 3 instants, 3 sorceries, 2 artifacts, 2 enchantments, 26 land, mana curve off to the side there. Let's just dive in, start looking at it. So, the foil face rare, Rurik Thar, the Unbound. This was my favourite out of all the Maze Runner creatures in the set. Really wanted to open it when I went to the pre-release, and I didn't, and I had to order it separately. But yeah, really liked Rurik Thar. Really interesting card, I think. Well, not interesting, just strong, just appeals to me. So 4, a red and a green, 6/6 vigilance and reach. Has to attack every turn if able. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, Rurik Thar deals 6 damage to that player, which is a huge amount of damage. I really like this, and what I would have thought would have been really interesting, honestly. They wouldn't have done it because but you could have done. So back in Legions, we had the elf deck, the mono green elf deck, which was just creatures and lands, and I really would have loved it if this Gruul deck was just creatures and lands, just to like really, lean into the theme here of Rurik Thar, like hating non-creature spells. I would have really liked that, but it's not, and it's fine, I suppose. Yeah, but Rurik Thar, I think, is really solid. Yeah, just 6/6 vigilance and reach. Sure, has to attack every turn favor, which is like a little bit of a downside. But like he's a big stompy creature, it's fine. And he's got vigilance, so he can stick around to block as well. Weirdly, has reach. Don't understand how he's got reach, but it's fine. Would have loved if he had trample, but then that's maybe being a bit greedy. But yeah, I really like Rurik Thar. Just very straightforward. Punishes non-creature spells, which I really like. The other rare is Scar Goliath. So this was an alternate rare I suggested in the last Gruul deck. So it's 6 and 2 green for a 9/9 with trample. Has Blood Rush. So Blood Rush is the Gruul keyword. So basically it means if it's in your hand, you can pay the Blood Rush cost, which in this case is 5 and 2 green. You discard it, and you give an attacking creature a buff. It's essentially like adding this creature's like power and toughness to it and its keywords and stuff. So Scar Goliath is 5 and 2 green. You discard it, and attacking creature gets +9/+9 gains trample and 10. So it just is. I really like Blood Rush as a keyword, honestly, because it just means everything with it can serve as a pump spell, which I really like. Just adds this kind of nice little bit of utility to it. So yeah, I think this is it's I mean it's maybe a little boring because it is just a big creature, but it is a very big creature, so it's fine. And the fact you've got this option to just as a really expensive buff spell, as something gets through, could potentially just kind of win the game there with the huge +9/+9 buff. So yeah, I like it. Single Gore Clan Rampager. This I think is probably the best Gruul card, just in terms of like cost and Blood Rush, I think. So 2, a red and a green for a 4/4 with trample, which is solid, like 4 mana for a 4/4 trample. And then Blood Rush is 1 red, 1 green. Discard it, attack creatures +4/+1 gains trample in turn. So like it's like a baby Scar Goliath. Yeah, I really like Gore Clan Rampager. Really wish there'd been more than one in the deck, but it is what it is. And then a bunch of Blood Rush creatures. Yeah, they all just all have Blood Rush at different costs and give different bonuses. There's not really much to say about them. Zertar Swine, 3 red and a green for 5/4. That Blood Rush is for one red, 1 green. Rubble Belt Backer is it's a new one that's from Dragon's Maze. 3 and red for a 3/3. That Blood Rush is for a single red to give +3/+3. So actually, this one is actually probably the best one, I think, just for it's the most cost-effective Blood Rush, I think. Like 1 red mana for +3/+3. A single Slaughterhorn, 2 and a green for 3/2. Blood Rushes for +3/+2 at single green, sure. Viashina Shanktail, 3 and a red for 3/1 first strike. Blood Rushes for +3/+1 and first strike for 2 and a red, sure. So like all those Blood Rush cards, I think are absolutely fine. I think they're very serviceable. We have a single Feral Animist, which is like a really nice reprint from original Ravnica. So 1. A red and a green for a 2/1. Has an ability, you pay 3 colours, it gets +X/0 until end turn, where X is its power. So this is like a really nice Blood Rush target. Like you attack with it, Blood Rush a bunch of stuff onto it, and then pay 3, and then like double its power and then double its already increased power. So like you could attack with this, say do the Maka to make it a 5/4, and then do its ability, goes up to being a 10/4 for only like 4 mana, which is pretty good, I think. So yeah, really like this inclusion in the deck. We got 3 Zertar Druid. This is a really good little mana dork. I really like this. So 1 red, 1 green for a 1/1. Taps to give you green. Whenever you tap Zertar Druid for mana, it does 1 damage to each opponent. This is great. This is really good at common, I think. Like at 2 mana, not only is it like giving you extra mana, helping you ramp up into your bigger stuff, but also just does damage indirectly and to each opponent as well, so it scales up like in multiplayer. Really good card, honestly. Really happy there's 3 of them in the deck. This is really solid, honestly. Yeah, really like Zertar Druid. A single Ripscale Predator, 4 and 2 red for a 6/5 with Menace. Sure, it's fine. 2 Crawl Warriors, 1 and a green for a 2/2. You spend 5 and a green to give it a +3/+3 turn. So I mean, it's technically a better bears, isn't it? Because it's a 2/2 for 2 with an ability. It's fine. It's fine. It's serviceable. 2 Saruli Gatekeepers. Ugh, so done with these Gatekeeper creatures. So 3 and a green for a 2/4. When it ends the battlefield, if you control 2 or more gates, insert my standard thing here about you've only got 4 gates in the deck anyway, you gain 7 life. So it's like that could have just been the effect anyway. Like that didn't need to be reliant on gates. Like it could have been just like 3 in the green for a 2/4 that gains you 7 life, and that would have been fine. Yeah, that actually would have been okay. But as it is, you got to jump through all these hoops. You got 2 of you. You got to get 50% of your gates out for it to work. It's just, I just hate these gatekeeper cards. They just take up deck space, and just none of them are good. We got 2 Cobble Brutes, so 3 and a red for a 5/2 vanilla, yeah, sure. And 2 Ruination Worms, 4 a red and a green for a 7/6 vanilla. Again, yeah, sure, fine. Big, just chunky creature, sure, that's what the deck wants. Single Pit Fight, 1 and a hybrid mana, instant speed, target creature you control fights another target creature. Yep, this is fine. This I really wish there'd been more than 1 in here, because I think this is all you've got in terms of like. You might have a few more removal, but like this is the one you actually want. Like you want fight effects in here because you've got big creatures. It goes really nicely actually after you blood rush something as well, and it's because it was instant speed, so you could blood rush something and then do the pit fight to get the instant speed. Better fight. You know what I'm saying. 2 ground assaults, 1 red and 1 green, does damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. Yeah, sure. This ramps up really nicely because like at 2 mana, it's usually just going to be 2 damage, but like once this starts, I think doing like 4 or more damage, I think it's pretty solid, honestly. So yeah, this is alright. 2 Gruul War Chants. This is really nice, and this is really nice. There's 2 of them here. So 2 a red and a green. Each attacking creature you control gets +1/+0 and has menace. So this is like a really nice board-wide buff. I think just to make all your attacking creatures stronger and harder to block. I think that's really solid. Really nice. There's 2 of them. We've got Split Spell, Armed and Dangerous. So Armed is 1 and a red to give target creature +1/+1 gains double strike 10/10. Unfortunately, it is at sorcery speed, but like that's fine. It would be super strong at instant speed at that cost. And Dangerous is 2 and a green. All creatures able to block target creatures this turn do so, and you can fuse them. So if you have the mana, then you can cast both sides. So the ideal thing, I think, is obviously to put Armed on one creature and Dangerous on another. You attack with both. The dangerous creature gets blocked by everything. The armed creature gets through and does a ton of damage with double strike and potentially like a load of blood rush on it as well. So yeah, this is a really again. Actually, really wish there'd been more than 1 in this deck. But yeah, this is really solid fuse spell. And then a single Predator Rapport, 2 and a green, choose target creature you control. You gain life equal to its power plus its toughness. Like it is just a life gain spell, but you can potentially get quite a lot off it just because I know, say like the Ruination Worm, that's like 13 life there, I suppose. I mean, it is just life gain, but I think there's a point where if you gain like a lot of life from a spell, by only investing like a little bit of mana, then I suppose it's okay. Yeah, this is alright, but it's again, it's not what the deck wants to do. I think you just want to you would cut this, I think, straight away for something else. Single Volcanic Geyser, X and 2 red, does X damage to target creature or player at instant speed. Yep, this is fine. Good use of maybe all the stuff you're going to ramp into. Well, you got the Zertar Druid who actually is a mana dork, so that works out okay. You got 2 clue stones like every deck, so that's another thing to ramp into a volcanic geyser. Clue stone is taps to give you red or green, and you can spend 2 taps, sacrifice to draw a card. We all know what clue stones do. We're all tired of seeing clue stones. And then 4 guild gates, 12 forests, and 10 mountains. So yeah, really whipped through that one because it was actually, it wasn't frustrating to talk about like the other Dragon's Maze decks have been. So what could have been? So there's still a few choices I think here that could be okay, maybe. I would like to see Scab Clan Giant. I would have liked to have this guy in here. So he's 4, a red and a green for 4/5. When he enters the battlefield, he fights a creature at random, which is pretty fun. I mean, it's still an opponent's creature. He's not going to punch one of your guys, but yeah, this is going to be okay. It's essentially like a removal spell. Like even if it is random, he's like big enough that should be okay, I suppose. They should sort of maybe kill whatever he fights at random, I suppose. A single frenzied tilling would have been alright, I think, as well. So 3 a red and a green, and it's you destroy a land and you get to ramp up into one of your other lands as well. So I think that would have been pretty good. I think that would have worked out okay here. Alternate rare, maybe. I do like the Scar Goliath, just because it is just a big, it's just a big old tramply lad. But Pyre Wild Shaman was a option here. So 2 and a red for 3/1 has Blood Rush, 1 and a red for +3/+1. But whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, if Pyre Wild Shaman is in your hand, you can pay 3, and if you do, it goes back to your hand. So yeah, this is either like a repeatable Blood Rush effect, or you can cast it and still like attack and block with it, and if it dies, doesn't matter, you've got a chance of getting it back. So yeah, I think this would have been a pretty fun little card, like a little maybe extra level of intricacy to the deck, but also there is just a lot of fun to be had just going like bam, +9/+9 trample at instant speed. No one expects it. So yeah, I don't think the deck is like desperately crying out for any of these. I think as I said, I think as is it's pretty solid. It's got some nice cards in there. So yeah, in summary, I would actually say out of all the Dragon's Mazes decks I've looked at so far, I think this one is probably the best, just because it's like it just seems very solid and effective. It hasn't got any. I mean, apart from like maybe like the Gatekeepers or something, hasn't got like any incredibly terrible choices in it like the Orzhov and Rakdos decks had. So yeah, this one is just solid, straightforward. I like Rurik Thar. Yeah, like a solid C+. It's still not like setting the world on fire. It's still just kind of green red aggro. But yeah, I like it. It's okay. I mean, compared to the others, I think it's pretty okay. What are your thoughts on the deck after seeing it? If you have any thoughts or comments or stories, opinions about the deck or any of the cards in it, stick a comment below. Always like reading those. But I'll be back next time to look at the last Dragon's Maze deck. But until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.